and welcome to another exciting episode of My Vocation Story. Today we're chilling at Fenza, which is the Faith and Encounter Center in Zambia. We'll be talking to Father Toon Kessel, who is the administrator at Fenza, and let's see how he's living out his vocation as a priest. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel, click the button for notifications whenever we have new content, and share the channel so that we can grow together as a Catholic family. For now, let's have a small chat with Father Toon Kessel. Join me and let's go.
So first of all, of course I come from the Netherlands. That's where I was born a long time ago, from a farmer's family, small farmers. So I grew up in a village of about 4,000 people. So that's a little bit my background. Went to school there, grew up there, and came from a family of 7, 2 boys and 5 girls. And that's where I started my life. It is especially in the secondary school that I started thinking about my life, about the future. Like all boys, we wanted all kinds of things. First you thought about becoming a doctor or about a nurse and all other kinds of things. So at the end of the secondary school, I was thinking of becoming a missionary, much more a missionary than a priest, because from the beginning I was reading articles about Africa, I was seeing TV about Africa, and that attracted me. The climate, the people, and especially there was a whole series of articles written in our newspapers about somebody who visited Tanzania, the White Fathers in Tanzania. So he was describing what they were doing, how they were living, and how much they wanted people to help them in their missionary life, in their missionary endeavor. So at the end of my secondary school, that was the thing I was thinking of. That's how I chose to become a missionary. Seminary was not a very good time for me. I never liked the seminary so much because concentrating on studies was not really my favorite. But of course I was quite pleased. We had to learn English, of course, first of all. Then we had to learn French because our seminary 4 years was in French. So that kept me going, and then there too you have your friends and you have people who help you to get along. But it was more difficult, I think, than living and working here. The seminary itself was more difficult for me to get through. I came to Zambia in '68. So after my secondary, then I wanted to become a missionary. I chose for the missionaries of Africa because they work only in Africa. And that's what attracted me. The life there, the lifestyle of living in a community. So I decided to join the missionaries of Africa. Then when I finished my studies to become a priest, I studied in the States for a year and then 4 years in Canada. And that's when they asked me where to go, so I chose Zambia. That's how I arrived here in '68. I can speak 3, Nyanja, Tumbuka and Chinsenga. Of course, the first impression, of course, is the life itself. You're living with 3 missionaries in rather poor circumstances, wherever the first 20 years we never had electricity, so we had to work with lamps and with all kinds of things. We didn't have real power, so our life was you have to adapt, you have to fix things yourself, you have to make things yourself. That was rather a struggle in order to get used to that. Yes, not really quitting. I did have, of course, difficult times when things were difficult personally, because you have to make big decisions again and again. But I never really thought of quitting. I did feel it sometimes very difficult. I think what helped me most was, number one, you're always living with 3 people. So you have a home, you have people you know, you have people you can talk with every day. That was number one. Number two, I think it's the people. I always felt that I was very much supported by the people. So leaving that behind, quitting that, I felt many would not be pleased, many would feel abandoned. So that attraction of being wanted, being appreciated, and having a home of 3 people, that made me get through most of my difficulties. I think it's the work that we were asked to do, trying to understand how people live, what they go through, and how you can help one another to get through life in the circumstances you are in. Because the first 40 years I was in rural parishes, so every weekend you are out in a village, you live there, you eat there, you sleep there. So you built up quite a strong bond with people. And I think that bond is really what helped me. And then the example of other missionaries who went through that, who worked here. And it always gave a satisfaction. I still remember every time I would come back from an outstation, then after a weekend, starting from Thursday up to Sunday, when you are back on Monday, you say, no, people were pleased to see me, I was pleased to hear what was happening. I was also pleased to find out what I could do more. So it kept the energy. I think I looked up not so much to saints. I was more impressed by, first of all, the Pope, the Pope John 24th. That was an inspiration to me at that time when I was a young priest, very much. And then later on, quite a few missionaries here whom I knew, of course, whom I saw and whom I was living with. They inspired me a lot. And then I saw the Pope, the present Pope, very much. And then Cardinal Mazombe, we were very much inspired by him, his way of living, his way of working and being. Of course, you can never try to inspire. I think the only way that we can be inspiring is when we show the joy we have to be with them, to work for them, with them, to take care of the sick, to take care of the people who are forgotten in the society. When people see that, when the youth sees that, I think that will inspire them. I don't think words will inspire as much as the lifestyle that we show while we are with the people around us. Yes, there too, I think you have to feel energized by the work you do, by the people you live with. You don't get so much inspired by preaching. You get more inspired by getting a bond, getting a relationship with the people you work with, by being convinced that you are there for one another and you appreciate one another. That is going to help you to become a real missionary. Ngatati kupemphani kuti ndinu munafuna kuti ife tithandizane kudziwa vanthu, kukhala ni vanthu, ndipo tithandizane ife vanthu pamodzi na inu. Lero tikupemphani kuti mutume vanthu vambiri amene azakhala othandiza anzawo, opatsa mphamvu anzawo, ndipo opereka maganizo othandiza onse, pakuti inu mufuna kuti tikhale anthu amodzi, tikhale anthu amene timvetsana ndipo tipatsana ulemu. Tipemphani mutipatse anyamata atsikana amene amvetsa maganizo anu ndipo adziwa kupereka maganizo aya kwa aliyense amene akhala nawo, amene apemphera nawo. Kupemphani izi m'dzina la Atate, la Mwana, la Mzimu Woyera. Amen.
So that's it for today on our episode of My Vocation Story. Make sure to join us next time, and always make sure to find out what your vocation is and find out what God is calling you to do. Thank you and see you next time. Hasta la vista!